hang on for a moment. But we are in my canning room. I lost my piece of cardboard that I had in here to hold my camera straight. Let me see if I can find something to stuff underneath this to keep it straight. Oh, let's see. That should do it. And I'm not seeing any people coming in yet, but that's okay. We're going to talk about my canning room, y'all. You're in my canning room now. This is a very small space. Let me see if I can move my camera over just a tad so you can see my face. There we go. This is my canning room, or part of it. And we're in the process of fixing it. My husband just finished the floor and the wall that had to be replaced in here from a water leak. I've got empty shelves in here that are going to be moved out. He's purchasing shelves for me, specifically for the canning that will hold up to 360 pounds a shelf, so that would be great. We are eventually going to resurface all of our floors throughout our mobile home because they're getting weak. They were made with the OSB boards, which is not good. So what we're going to probably do is we're probably going to lay a 1/2-inch plywood over everything, raise the floor up just a tad. We may have to shore off some doors to do that, but that's just a part of living in a mobile home. I have my basket of books that I use. Well, hello, Adenir. Welcome in. These are some of the canning books that I use. I don't have my big Bible in here, but I do have everything else. This one is called the Ultimate Dehydrator Book, and I do dehydrate. I've got several items that I have dehydrated around. This is scallions that I've dehydrated. So you can dehydrate a lot of your vegetables and including some meats if you do it properly. So this has all kinds of tips on how to dehydrate, and then in the back it has recipes. And so you want to be able to put things together to make meals with, and they've got all kinds of ideas in here for you to do that. This is an older, well, not necessarily older, this is a blue book of preserving. This book is basically for your canned jams and jellies and so forth. And doesn't that look scrumptious? So I always resource my books, try to figure out what is the best method for me. I do have some older canning books in here. This one is Sears, Your Cold Spot Time Bank Freezer. So this one teaches you about proper freezing and what you can freeze, and gives you all kinds of great ideas of how to blanch your vegetables and all kinds of information in that one. And that one is from, let me look and see if it's got a date on it. This one is from 1965 to 1968. So this is a very old freezer book. Freezing hasn't changed much, but it is something that we need to pay attention to. Hey, Ann Haynes, welcome in. Yeah, I'm having a hard time this morning, y'all. This is my home canning recipes. Now, this is a book I started putting together. I haven't finished yet. But these are family recipes that we have collected from friends, and some of them are some that I found online. And see, I haven't gotten very far in the book. I need to get back to doing that. I'll do that in the winter. Try to get all my recipes into one place so I can find them instead of having them stuffed in books. I just like the organization of it better. I've got a few more books here. Let me get myself organized. I am not organized at all this morning. Okay. This is another blue book canning book. You can see the price on it was $1. Hello, Glitter World and E's Godson. And if anybody I've missed in chat, I do apologize. But this one is mainly for pickles, relishes, and freezer jellies and stuff like that. It is an older book, so when I do take recipes out of this, I will go and double check it against my newer ball book. But it's got a lot of great recipes in here that is not in the other book. And then this one is also a blue book for easy home canning. And again, this one has just about every recipe. It's got meats and so forth in it. And it is an old book. I mean, the cover's falling off. And this one was 35 cents. So I always check the recipes against the newer recipes for when I'm canning. I want to know that I'm doing the proper temperature on my canning, the proper method on my canning, and the proper headspace on my canning. But the recipes in here have been tried and true for many generations. This is another little book. This one's by Jackie Callahan Parente. It's Canning Essentials. It's got tools and techniques, recipes for fruits, veggies, jams, pickles, salsa, and more. And I like this book because she gives you lots and lots of photos throughout the book so that you can actually see what you're supposed to be doing. She talks about the style of jars, what kind of jars that you need, and everything in this book. It's really neat. Hey, Spread, welcome in. My favorite kind of soda, I don't drink soda. I drink water, I drink flavored teas, and I'll drink fruit-infused waters. I do not drink soda. This is another blue book of home canning. This one probably has a date in it. This one was 1985, so it's still newer, but it's still out of date. But it's got all kinds of recipes in here for canning and freezing. And so it's always great to always double check the time on your cooking temps, method of cooking or canning, and your headspace when you're doing these kind of recipes. The last book I'm going to show you is the USDA Complete Guide of Home Canning. I don't use this book very often, but it is a very handy tool. This one was printed in 2020, so it's very updated. And it talks about what you need to do step by step in the very beginning of this. Recommended canners and how you check your headspace, your sealing compounds, all kinds of great information in the beginning of it. And I suggest that when you get one of these books that you sit down and actually read through the information on canning if you've never canned before. And so it gives you information on canning tomatoes in here. It's got it divided out by sections, how to do mixed vegetables and other things. So this was a great asset to my book collection for the canning room. We do still buy some store-bought canned goods. And the reason we're buying them is we want to fill in our pantry as much as we possibly can. So this is ground pork. This is a low-sodium tomato sauce. And when you're buying these kind of products, you need to look on the labels and make sure that they're simple ingredients. You don't want to introduce anything into your system that is going to cause you to have problems. Hey, Deanna, welcome in. That's Dee's Garden Adventures. Joy Colby. Y'all, I'm sorry if I'm not answering your questions on here. I can't hardly see that, but I'm going to get up on my stool here and we're going to talk about a couple of different things. I'm going to pull a couple of canned goods and explain to you the difference because I'm going to be using a lot more of these one-piece canning lids. Let me get on my stool. and have a half a seat anyway. There's two different canning lids on these. This one is a flat canning lid. Can y'all see that it's flat? This is for water bath canning only. This one was done by the Amish. Although the Amish will use these on beans and stuff, I'm not sure how they're canning them. The lady that I talked to says she absolutely does use a pressure canner, but I've never seen her with a pressure canner, so I don't know when she's using it. This are some lima beans that I canned, and it has a button on top, and it will concave when it seals. And also with these, when they come out of your canner, you should always check and make sure that the band is tight on your jar, because sometimes they loosen in the canner and then you won't get a good seal. So these I don't have fails with. These I recently bought some from the Amish community, and I actually did have a fail, but I'm thinking it was because they store them in a barn. They weren't stored inside their home, and I think that maybe the gaskets had gotten a little rigid. Even though they looked fine, they got a little rigid. So I did have a canning fail recently with the English piece that I did, because I used this canning lid in a pressure canner, which is a no-no. You don't do that. Oh, I am sweating in here. We've had rain for a week, y'all. It's just been crazy, crazy, crazy. I'm going to show you another product that I have in my pantry. I store a lot of dry goods, and I will occasionally get bread or make too much bread, and I don't want it to go bad. So what I do is I make croutons out of it, and a lot of times I'll leave them in this form, and sometimes I will just go ahead and grind them up for breadcrumbs. And you can add your seasonings to it when you're ready to use them, or you can mix your seasonings in and have an Italian seasoning and several other seasonings. Breadcrumbs I use on meat in the oven sometimes. They're a good filler for meatloaf and many other products. Croutons are really good on some soups, like onion soup or split pea soup. Very, very good for you. And this is a sourdough bread. It's actually got some breadcrumbs at the bottom because it naturally starts to break down. And I do keep an oxygen absorber in with them so that no moisture can get inside that jar. It's hot in here, y'all. It's hot in here. I also do meals in jars. Now this is a hamburger or chicken meal that I did recently on a video. I put my dehydrated vegetable pack in there. My seasoning pack is separate. My noodles are in the bottom. And then I will brown up some ground beef crumbles or some chicken. And then I will add the water and whatever else that I need. And you can see the label there. Hey, Kathy Grazier, welcome in. I hope I'm not missing anybody in chat. And then on the other side of my label, I give the cooking instructions. So they're always labeled when I do these. And I reuse my flats for these. They also include either a bay leaf or an oxygen absorber in the jar. And then I make sure my band is on there good and tight. So that's a product that I use in my kitchen, in my pantry. It makes a quick meal, and it's so nice to have on your pantry shelf. I even dry can my coffee my teas and different things. And this coffee has a oxygen absorber in here. I'm reusing one of the one-piece lids. You can use either one of them. And I always keep bay leaves on hand because bay leaves can be used in your dry goods in place of the oxygen absorber. These are mainly for like beans and flour to keep the bugs out. And also, if you have something on your pantry shelf that contains sugar, you do not want to use the oxygen absorber in there. You want to use a bay leaf. So y'all can see this shelf behind me. The top two shelves mainly have dry ingredients, and then I have pickles and relishes on this particular canning shelf. I try to keep everything organized. Now, we are going to be redoing this whole room with new canning shelves, and I'll be showing that in a few weeks probably. I want to come in here and give y'all a good pantry tour of my pantry. But I also have boxes that I have dry goods stored in half-gallon jars. I label on the outside of the box what is inside the box because I literally do not have enough shelving in this pantry to put everything that we have right now. I also have my canners in here. Most of the time my canners are located in here, although I do have some out in the washroom pantry as well. I have a shelf in there for the bigger pots that I have no place to put. Hey LSP Freckle-Faced Artist, welcome in. Y'all, we have so many open collaborations going on. I hope y'all are checking them out and getting involved. We would love to have you jump on board with some of them. I know the Garden Tour Club will end in August, and the last giveaway for that will be in September. And then Fall Fest 24 begins. And Fall Fest is always a fun time. I enjoy it, and I'll be bringing out my Paula the Pumpkin Sitter for that. Hey, the Bud Files, welcome in. Well, y'all, tell me what you think about what you're seeing behind me. I mean, I don't have to go to the grocery store. I have saved money by canning myself. It takes time, but when I'm ready for a meal, all I have to do is come in here and grab some jars. I even have meats canned, and I can make a complete meal out of my home pantry. Let's see. You can't see these, but we took old metal coat hangers, and this is how we store our bands for our canning when we're doing the flat lid canning. So these come in handy. They get them out of boxes under beds and closets and other places, and I can just come in here and grab a hanger of whatever size that I need, take it out and do my canning. Of course, you can see I've done quite a bit of canning off this because this ring was full all the way to the top. And then I just hang them on the shelves until I'm ready for them again. And then my canning lids, I store them in, I've got a plastic rollaway tote. I can pull the tote out with me and take it into the kitchen. I try to do my canning flats up ahead of time, have them bagged up and labeled that they're clean, so that I'm not in there washing my canning lids trying to get everything together. Hey, Austin's World Adventures, welcome in. And I am in the process of getting everything ready to come in here. Y'all, we have jars and jars sitting everywhere in our house right now because we had that water leak in here and we had to get that fixed. So that's fixed. I'm not even worried about what the wall looks like because the canning shelves are going to be covering it anyway. So, I mean, it's just something that I like to do. I know exactly what we're eating. I know exactly how it was prepared. I know what the ingredients were that went into my canning jars. Hey, Twin Brook, welcome in. Austin's World Adventures, welcome in. Glad that you're here. It's a little warm in here today. Now we live in a double wide mobile home, and yeah, many of y'all know that. And so this is one of the bedrooms, the spare bedrooms. This room is like 8 by 10, something like that. It's a small bedroom. And we had a bed in here for the longest time. Then we decided, well, we need a place to put our canning jars. So we chose this room. It's on the east end of the house, east and southern end of the house. I would have put it on the northern end of the house, but that's the entry into our home. And so I couldn't put it on that end. We also have blackout curtains in here, and I have a special plastic that is used for freezers when they ship the Azure Standard that they gave me. When we move everything out of here, I'm going to apply it to the window to block out as much light as possible to help those blackout curtains really darken up the room. And in the wintertime, we close our floor vent because we don't want heat coming in here. We want to keep the room cool. And in the summertime, we have our vent open with the air conditioner keeping the room cool. So it's a constant temperature in here. There's no temperature fluctuations unless we lose power. You should go through your pantry at least once a month and wipe down your lids and check for any seals that may have come loose. I've shown y'all a lot of products, but I haven't shown you one of how to store your jars that have a flat lid on it. So you'd never store these with the band on it. You always store them without the band on it. And you can hold it by that, and you know that it's sealed. This one, it happens to be apple butter that I made in November of 2023. How long do most foods last on your shelves? Well, the FDA says 18 months, I believe, is probably the longest that they suggest. But as long as the seals are sealed on your food and they're not rusted, and they're, the lid hadn't come loose, your food is safe to eat. I've got food items from 2018 in here. And I forgot to bring my glass of water, y'all. We're only going to be on here for another 8 minutes. I think I can handle that. Hey, Mountain Grandma, welcome in. So glad that you're here. I know I'm missing folks. Now listen, when this live ends, I can't go back through the live and catch all your names. So what I would like you to do is to go below this live after it ends and it's posted, and just leave a little comment. You can leave a heart or whatever, just to let me know that you were in the chat so that I can get you on my watch later list. I do give back watch hours as much as I possibly can to everybody that comes to my channel, so I want to make sure that y'all are included in that. Speaking of watch hour list, I am behind. I have been working on watch hours from last week. I'm just about finished with that, and I will begin all the watch hours from this week once that is done. And also, if you are needing watch hours, you can also put a WH somewhere in your comment, just randomly, just put WH. I'll know that means watch hours. And I will try to put you on another playlist. Now, I don't do long playlists. I don't go grab people's playlists and exchange them or anything, but I will go grab maybe 5 or 10 of your video content, and I try to grab those that are longer in length sometimes to give you watch time. And then I can kind of rotate through so it looks like I'm just binge watching for a little while instead of, actually binge watching for 24 hours or 48 hours, sometimes up to a week on somebody's playlist. I don't want to do that to y'all, and it just makes it easier for me. So I'll do that occasionally, and I just wanted to let y'all know that. Let's see, what else have I got in here? Let me reach up on this top shelf. One year we had an overabundance of okra. I had no room in my freezer, so I dehydrated it. This is from 2021. It's still perfectly good. The seal is still sealed. I did vacuum seal this one. There's no oxygen absorber in there because of that. When you're dehydrating your food, you want to make sure that it's got room to move. In your canning jar, you may want to leave it out on your counter for a few days and just check it every day to make sure there's no moisture in that jar, because you don't want moisture in there that will ruin your product. I've also got a fruit and nut mix that I have also canned, and this one doesn't have anything in it, but because it's got fruit in there, it's got sugar in there. So if I did not use the vacuum sealer on here, I would have actually just dropped a bay leaf in there, and that way I know that it's good. And that one is from 2022. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. 2022. Well, y'all, I think somebody's at my door, so I'm going to have to let you go. But thank you for coming in. I hope that y'all are blessed. May you come back and see me tomorrow with some more content. Be with me on Wednesday for my live. Bless y'all.